another rule change that I feel like is inevitably going to happen. This is something that the commissioner has spoken out about. They're going to make the rule change happen, even if it means tabling it until May when the coaches aren't there, which we've seen happen in the past, or just it buys the commissioner time to spot which arms he needs to twist, like last year with the Thursday night flexing, which wasn't going to pass in March. So they wait until May, twist some arms, you get to 24 votes. So the hip drop tackle, that's the one I'm talking about. That's going to be gone. Even though the union's against it.
Why? Can I start there, right there? Like, what is the union against one of the most dangerous plays in football? What are they not there to protect the players? Have I got something wrong here? I mean, we're seeing guys break legs and ankles and ACLs every week because of one type of tackle. And the NFLPA is going, we don't want the rule change? It makes no sense to me at all. None. I don't understand that.
I agree with you completely. On one hand, it's the health and welfare of the players. On the other hand, it's just another way to steal money from them. You know, that stuff we hear from time to time. Hell, you say it from time to time. They're just stealing money from the players. Well, there is an appeal process. But yes, this protects players from another area where they would be fined by the league if you don't have this rule in place. But I agree with you. My first thought was they're supposed to be defending and protecting all players. And this is a technique that has proven to create, according to the league, an injury rate increase of 20 times.
Yes.
20 times.
Right.
I think Troy Vincent told us that 3 weeks ago at the Scouting Combine. 20 times the normal injury rate on a scrimmage play when you tackle this way. And we've seen it. And we know what it looks like. This isn't something that's hard to spot. It's not as easy as the horse collar. Horse collar is obvious. You see the hand, you see the pull, and that's that. Hip drop tackle is pretty close. It's a lot easier to spot that than it is to spot the lowering of the helmet, especially because that happens so much away from the play.
Right.
This is the guy with the ball. We always keep our eyes on the guy with the ball. And when you see that technique, and you know it when you see it, the grab, the rotation, and the drop, the way to get him down by dropping your weight onto his legs.
Right, just go limp and hold on.
Serious injury.
Right.
Yeah, go limp and drop onto his legs, and you injure him that way. And I agree with you. I don't know why the union is against this. And I'd like to hear an explanation. I'd like to see someone interview Lloyd Howell or Jalen Reeves-Maben and say, what about your constituents who are having serious ankle injuries, broken legs? The fans who are against this, it's like, don't you want the offensive skill position players who are the ones getting injured to not get injured? I mean, if we want to make it completely selfish and appeal to their own basic interest, you got guys on your fantasy team that are going to get injured and they're not going to be available for your fantasy team. Why are you so opposed to this? But it is so loud, the opposition. So many fans just play flag football. Don't just see what's happening.
This was not a play. This was not this is where that whole get off my lawn thing. This was not a way people tackled 25 years ago, 20 years ago, really even 15 years ago. It's all kind of in the last 15 years continue to go up, right? One guy sees one guy do it and they go, well, damn, I mean, it's not really the right way to tackle, but the guy goes down every time. So let me keep doing that because they go down and that's my job. And listen, you know me, I'm pro defensive player. I feel very bad for the defense and what they got to go through. And the rules are so skewed for the offense and all that. I argue for the defense all the time, right? But this is one where, this Lawrence Taylor never tackled a guy like this ever. Nor did Reggie White or Ray Lewis. I never saw that. Nor was it ever taught at any level. And again, my theory too. The gloves they're so Spider-Man now. That's the other reason I think guys do it, because nobody falls off anymore. Nobody gets stiff-armed to the ground. Nobody can do that because the gloves you're locked on. But here's the other part of that, where the NFLPA, and again, I'm for the defense, more times than not. But to be worried about the fining system and all that. Yeah, I understand that. But I think this one's pretty clear cut when you see it. Like you said, it's maybe not as easy as the horse collar, but we all year long would sit there in the viewing room at NBC here and go, that's hip drop, that's hip drop, that's hip drop, that's hip drop. We'd say it a few times every week. So I know they're worried about fines and all of that and player money, but But like, what about Tony Pollard, who's about to be a free agent and never got to see a guaranteed contract or money because his ankle got broken because of one of these tackles, right? So, we're going to protect a few fines, but what? In the process, let guys' careers and long-term money get ruined? That's where it makes no sense from the NFLPA. I mean, there's the Dak Prescott's foot turned the wrong way. That was the hip drop tackle, right? We got, Geno Smith from last year that we hit on, Ramondre Stevenson, Mac Jones the year before with Calais Campbell. I mean, we really can go on and on and on here. It's egregious. It needs to be out of the game, and good from the NFL in this one, and I don't know what the hell the NFLPA is thinking with that. I don't.
There is some concern from the league that it won't be spotted in real time by the officials because most of it happens in the tackle box where it isn't as obvious as when it occurs out in the open field. But the league's position is even if they miss throwing the flags, this is something we can discipline on the back end. And when the player gets fined, the player gets the message he's got to stop doing that thing that he shouldn't have been doing by way of the grab, the swivel, and the drop. And that leads to the appeal process, Chris. And we had Derek Brooks, Hall of Fame linebacker, on with us at the Super Bowl, and we kind of drifted into this area because, hey, he's one of the hearing officers. He's one of the guys who's going to be resolving the appeals that the players file when they are fined for an illegal hip drop tackle. So here's his take. And there's a lot of gray there that he sees, and there's not a lot of gray in the rule. But have a listen to what Derek Brooks had to say about the hip drop tackle.
It's certain angles that are part of making a tackle. When you're coming from the side and you grab a guy in that area, your body weight and your momentum is going to take you to the side versus you coming from behind someone, grab and pulling back.
Right.
There's a very big difference in those two. So do you call them the same? Do you say both are hip drop tackles, or do you rename one after the other? And I look at the play against the tight end, Andrews against
the Bengals.
The Bengals.
Right.
That was a good tackle to me.
Yeah.
You look at the way that kid's angle came and the way that he was not trying to pull back. He was trying to grab.
He's just trying to get anything
he
he can grab.
He tried to grab.
Right.
He grab to the side and momentum roll.
Right.
That's how that happened. It wasn't a grab from behind and pull back. Now we did have certain instances
that were egregious.
Egregious where someone grabbed, wrapped around, and rolled a guy back. That is definitely a tackle that I don't want to see.
So here's the thing. He made that distinction between just tackling from behind and the actual grab back and drop that way. The rule doesn't make that distinction.
Yeah.
So regardless of what his personal preferences are, the rule is going to be the rule when it's passed. And it's not a matter of if. When it's passed, whether it's in March or in May, that's going to be the rule, and that's going to be the rule he's expected to properly apply when it's time to handle these appeals. And look, if you don't properly apply the rules, at some point you're not going to be the hearing officer anymore.
Yeah.
So he's going to have to come around on that. I get what he's saying.
Right.
I don't think that's going to be an easy distinction, and the bottom line is it's irrelevant because the rule as it's currently written does not have an exception that there has to be an element of pulling the guy back towards you before you fall.
Yeah.
It's just grab, turn, and fall.
Yeah, you know it when you see it. Like, guys, do we got the Geno Smith clip? Do we have the Ramondre Stevenson one? Let's show it so we can see it. Because the one we showed with Mark Andrews and the Bengals and Logan Wilson really is one of the less egregious ones all year, right? That's the one. That's one of the ones that go, that's not as bad. Like, I hear what Derek Brooks is saying. And listen, if you want to, but like these are like slam dunks when you see these. And again, it seems like a lot of these happen in this right here. Going to the sideline, grab, right? You just drop your body weight. And thank God Geno got his foot out of there in time because he's like a half a second away from having a broken fibula and tibia bone. I mean, it's really close, right? And again, that's the one's not even as egregious as some of the ones we have seen over the years. We get into Ramondre Stevenson, right? This year, this one, again, there's your one between the tackles that's hard to spot. But I'd go at it, right? When it looks like a rodeo, okay, then it's not that hard, right? And again, guys didn't tackle like that in the old days, right? That was not a thing. This has become a fad, okay? And to that, where I would challenge Derek Brooks a little bit, right? If we can go back to the Mark Andrews play one more time, right? It's just that, like even in that play, in the old days, the guy ran and tackled and continued to roll in the direction he was going. He didn't do that, grab a guy and then swing his body through and swing his legs through, right? Like that right there. No, Derek Brooks never made a tackle like that. I watched him make a million tackles sitting there on the sideline watching my ex-teammate, right? He would tackle him and keep rolling towards the sideline or stick his hand out and try to grab the legs and like barrel roll to the sidelines. That's what we grew up watching. Again, this has become a thing, and again, it's really hard. I understand that, but I think it's necessary in the NFL. I really do.
I am as confident as I've ever been that that rule change is coming, and the players are going to have to adapt, and they're either going to get flagged, or they're going to get fined, or both. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.